today, when you walk into this place, you are greeted by an aura of serenity and calm. More than 150 years ago, the situation would have been different, with wails and screams from slaves as they were being tormented by their raiders. I'm walking towards the reception area that was built in the 1970s by Idi Amin. When Idi Amin realized the importance of this monument, he decided to put up a kind of a permanent structure that works as a reception. So the tourists could come in and are received here, they process their documents, and then they proceed to look at the sites up there. So as you can see, it's now abandoned. I think because of the decades of war and neglect, the structure has been dismantled and stands as the way you look at it now. The old entrance of the original reception area for the slaves. This structure you see here, the wall you see here, the gate was constructed by Idi Amin. But the original structure did not look like this. It was made up of very strong earth and very strong bricks that were traditionally made. Now, when you look through this is a hall where there was a cannon gun was placed here to make sure that the people who intended to come and take back the slaves were always kept at bay by this gun which was put here. So you walk through the reception area and then you go right here. Now, this front yard here was a place that was used to sort out the slaves. The slaves would come through here, they get here, and hundreds of them would be paraded around here, and then they start sorting out the sick ones, the old, those who are weak. And then, of course, as you see up there, there was the administrative area. We walk right through. Maybe we can. Now, according to the stories, the slaves having been sorted out from here, some of them were taken up these stairs up here because it's a very big fortress up here. So walk through rocks, and as you walk through rocks, they would be taken up here. It's a huge rock here that was naturally made now. There are two containers here, kind of enclosures here. One of these two, today they have been reconstructed. The original construction was not like this. It wasn't made of cement. It was made of earth. So today, in those days, this was used as an armory by the raiders. They would keep their arms inside here, as we see later. Now, to my left here, this was, is believed to have been the store for food, because the slaves had to be kept alive. So one of the two had to be used as a store for food for the slaves. Now, when we move down here, there's another huge rock that overlooks the north. Now, towards right there is the Sudan. So certainly the slaves would be heralded all the way up to the north as they headed for the Sudan and the coastal areas of Mogadishu. Now, this is an interesting place down here. It is a kind of a backyard, a huge rock. Now, the slaves who were not able to walk or were weak, the old ones, the tired ones, were brought here. This was an execution area. So they would be laid flat. Their heads would be chopped off. And the head would roll down there because that was a bush, and it's believed that there were so many lions that were waiting for the heads and the flesh of all those guys who were killed here. If you observe closely here, you will see marks. There are marks that still exist of of the axes that they are used to cut the people. Let's walk a bit ahead. You'll see more of them here. Now there is a very conspicuous mark here. Now each of these marks shows that there was somebody who was executed here. You can see it clear here. All these. If you move, you see many of them. There is one here which is very conspicuous. This one. All these were heads of people that were cut and rolled, as you can see. So this was an execution place where they executed people. Now, when you move towards the right, it's believed that there was a kind of a disciplinary place where they would discipline people who were, I mean, the raiders, or there are people who disobeyed. Right up there's a very big rock where they would either put someone, he's shot, and then he tumbles down the valley. You go there and have a look. You are Mr.
Constant.
You are the one in charge of this area.
This fort, yes.
I was trying to explain what happened in this court, but I'm told you understand the history of this place much better than I do. Would you like to give me a brief about what happened in this place here?
Please, in the first place, you're welcome to Baker's Fort. Yes. Otherwise, this place here, this open ground here used to be a courtyard where court martials were being conducted every morning by the Arab slave traders.
Yeah.
The purpose of the court here was to screen out the newly captured slaves, so that the physically fit who could go and earn the very ready market at the Arab coast were sorted out and put aside, while the sick, the weak, the indisciplined ones, and others who, because of other reasons, may not be marketable at the Arab coast there, were, instead of being released to go, were sentenced to death.
Yeah.
And sentencing to death, but then they were in two ways. You would either be sentenced to death by beheading, using an axe, or else by firing squad.
Yeah.
So when sentenced to death from this courtyard here, when you are sentenced to death by beheading, they will take you from here through that gap there to the execution slab where you will be beheaded.
Yeah.
Else, if it is by firing squad, then they take you to the firing squad site there where you see there's a tall dark green tree.
Okay.
Now from here there were some captives who would refuse to walk from the courtyard here to the execution points because they have learned they are already sentenced to death.
Yeah.
So all the same, they were even beheaded from this courtyard. Every point like that means loss of life.
Every point like that means loss of life.
Yeah, that means loss of life. If you see it very quickly. There are very many on the compound here.
So thousands of people were executed from here.
Very many people lost their life here.
Yeah.
Yes.
So can we walk towards the execution place?
Now, in any case, you are sentenced to death from this courtyard by the Arab slave traders. They will now parade you through this gap here to the execution slab where you will be beheaded.
Okay.
Now, if we could put ourselves in the position of those sentenced to death.
So we are walking towards the execution slab now.
And if we could put ourselves in that position with imaginary guards behind us, we would all go be executed down here.
So this is how they were taken through this up to the execution ground here. So this is the point where very many Africans lost their lives. Yeah.
So sentenced to death from there by beheading, they would bring you here. And if you see these marks here,
I can see marks here.
They are actually one after another and very frequent. In the early days when we were still young, in the late 60s, all of these places were still littered with stains of blood, which were clearly seen. But right now, they are now removed by erosion or running water and so on.
Okay.
The Arab slave traders, whenever they bring you here, you are beheaded from here, rotten or not, is not their concern. Tomorrow they will still bring more. So during that time, there were plenty of wild hyenas.
Wild hyenas right down there.
Yeah, they were the ones who were living on these corpses and skeletons. So with the hyenas, when the flesh are not there today, they live on bones. So they actually destroyed a lot of could have been evidence of skulls and skeletons on the compound.
Okay,
but still we cannot rule out that if one is to dig down there, can still get these skulls and bones
of the executed
in the place there. No one has ever taken the trouble to excavate down there to establish this.
So you can imagine how stiff it is here. You know, they cut somebody's head and it rolls right from there,
Even
and then
up to here, you see these marks.
you can see
in the shade.
Careful. So it's just the marks, as you can see, all of them all over they are. And then the head would just roll and the torso would remain up there. So let's try to go to the execution by firing squad.
It used to depend on the decision of the magistrate.
Yeah.
Possibly you are too stubborn and so on. They want to kill you so that it will not take them time to bring you down here.
Yeah, to disturb them.
It's just the decision of the magistrate.
Yeah.
And then it would be brought there.
So they would take you to that. We're walking right up the rock where they used to do the firing squad execution. These are huge rocks that still stand. Yes.
As we were coming in, we went across this piled heap of stones.
Yeah.
This piled heap of stones actually is the condition of the trench on reaching the rock surface. They actually divided the hill here into different sections.
Yeah.
Like we are from the execution slab. This used to be a prison department where newly captured male captives would be piled.
So this is the prison here.
Yeah.
Under this huge rock.
Yeah.
That was the prison.
That was the prison cell for newly captured male captives.
The male captives. How about the
female captives?
The female captives.
They used to push them under this rock here.
The female captives were kept in different.
Yes, newly captured.
So they would be stuffed under this rock.
Yeah, waiting for trial next day. They were forced to enter down there, and you were asked to find your
way down here. Push right down inside there, and then you find your level down there. This was the prison for the female slaves who were newly captured.
Yes, and behind you is just an accumulation of rainwater.
Yeah. Okay.
Now we head to the firing squad site.
Come, let's look at the firing squad site.
Yes. Of course, just like that.
The firing squad, just go close carefully. Now, there is another huge rock here, and as you can see, there is a kind of a precipice. A precipice with the depressing. You can see down there. So you can imagine, take a picture of 150 years ago. Hyenas and lions were waiting for the dead bodies of those slaves. Can you go ahead and explain, sir?
As you see, critical at the edges here, it's actually fairly steep. So that to be shot at, who is sentenced to death by firing squad from the courtyard there would be brought and would be forced to stand in that depression.
Let me assume that now I am standing here. So
down there.
You would go down. I can't go down. It's a bit steep,
so
but you would stand here.
The men would support themselves against this rock behind you there, and you are blasted at from there.
And then you fall down there.
Now in the hands of the hyenas.
Yeah. So
rotten or not is not their concern. It's outside the fort. Now.
He's saying that the firing squad guy would stand there with a gun, and then the slave would stand here, and then he would be fired at, and the next thing you do is fall down there where the hyenas and lions were waiting to devour you down here. Yeah, it's quite steep, and after that steepness there is kind of a flat area where you expect to be wild animals and lions, hyenas waiting to get part of your flesh that has remained. So,
to continue, Sir Samuel Baker, when he was coming to Africa, he was accompanied by his wife, Florence Baker.
Yes.
This wife, Florence Baker, incidentally happened to be a white captive who was abducted.
A white slave.
Who was captured from a country called Hungary, and during the Ottoman Empire,
and
taken to one of the Arab countries. She grew up with an Arab family.
So she was a slave.
She was a slave.
Yeah.
She never knew she was a slave not until the day she was taken to be sold off in the slave market.
Yeah.
And incidentally, in the slave market, there happened to be Baker, who on seeing this young white lady, he thought of every way possible to elevate this lady out of slavery.
Yeah.
And he decided to line up in the bid to buy this lady. Incidentally, by then, Florence, she was only 14 years old. Florence was born in 1845 and taken to be sold off in the slave market in 1859.
Yeah.
And from the slave market, Baker became the second bidder after an Arab woman, who on seeing the interest Baker had in buying that lady, gave up for Baker to buy Florence. And indeed, Baker bought Florence, and for some time she served with him as her master. But later on, they developed relationship until they became to live together as a couple.
Yeah.
Where finally they got married in the church officially in 1865, when they went back to England from here on his first mission, his first exploration mission.
So he decided to come down to Africa with his wife now.
Yeah.
So
now,
what's the significance of this? Yeah, this
while
stone.
While in this fort,
Yeah.
in 1873, when he captured this fort from the Arab slave traders, before they left this place, Florence left a sign of a cross on this rock, a small cross on this rock.
Is it still there?
Yes, the cross is still
Let's see whether it's there.
It is still clearly seen. It's just in front of me here.
Okay, the sign of the cross.
That small cross there was left by Florence Baker in remembrance of her stay here.
Yeah.
Now, Florence Baker, a white lady in the African society during that time,
Yeah.
she was an extraordinary woman.
Yeah.
Say the African society say, no, this woman here, so bright, the color is just white,
Yeah.
bright, blistering eyes, long curling hairs, and everything about her, she's beautiful. She shines like the early morning stars. And then they say, the early morning stars in the African society is normally said to be the daughter of the moon.
Okay, so.
And therefore they nicknamed Florence as Anyadwe.
Anyadwe, that's what she's
Anyadwe,
called.
yes, Anyadwe in the native language here means the daughter of the moon.
Okay.
Yes.
So let's walk towards the.
As we move back,
I can see these two containers.
these containers here were built by the Arab slave traders. For initially, these Arab slave traders came to this place like another business community, or which they were welcomed by the community and buying their merchandise. But later on, when they changed their nature of business to slavery, was when people objected their business and began to run away from them in fear of being taken slave. So for them, at the cost of that, they also built this fort with those trenches dug all around.
Yeah, the trenches are dug all around this place.
The trenches used to be 8 feet in the width, and that's well the depth.
Yeah.
Up to now, it is not yet full, if you see it. So they also built this trench here, this fort here, so that in case the natives decide to attack them, they would be on the safer end. Now, when they turned this place now into that the defensive area for collecting center for slaves captured from different directions. So the captured slaves from different directions were forced to carry along with them foodstuffs to eat on their way to the coast.
Yeah.
So that on reaching their headquarters here, they built those structures you're seeing there.
Yeah.
The structures here were stores. The two here were food stores. Like the first one there in the middle was a store for millet. Then the second one on this iron here was a store for simsim. Then the third one there on the extreme north there with 2 rooms was an armory store for keeping their arms and ammunition.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, let's try to walk across and see. So, tell us the story of how this fort was captured from the Arabs.
This fort, initially, as I told you, these Arabs came to this place, and they built this place as their slave collecting center. So, in 1869, when Baker came to Africa on request by the Queen to organize a trip to Africa, he was requested to take an appointment to be the Governor General of Equatorial Area, of which the equatorial area would include northern Uganda here. The task given to him was to eradicate slave trade. So when Baker went back in that same year, 1869, he came back to Africa in 1870 to take that appointment, to be the Governor General of the equatorial area, whose task would be to eradicate slavery. So he actually walked from Egypt southward to Sudan and on to Uganda. He continued up to Bunyoro, where he stopped there with the king of Bunyoro through ambushes from the king of Bunyoro, because the king of Bunyoro this time refused to welcome back Baker to his palace.
Yeah.
Because at the initial stage, when he came as an explorer,
he was a threat to his kingdom.
Yeah, in fact, he actually welcomed him, gave him food, introduced him to the water masses they were talking of, like Lake Albert, where he named it Lake Albert, and he came to the waterfall on the Nile and named it as Magician Fall, now on Gulu, Kampala Road.
Yeah.
So he came back from there, and the next time he came as now administrator, the Governor General of the equatorial area. He continued even up to Bunyoro, but this time the king of Bunyoro never welcomed him. Seeing the number of men that accompanied him, he thought it wise that possibly this white man may
Those were black people accompanying him.
Yes, black people who were recruited mostly from Egypt. Yes. The king of Bunyoro thought it wise that this man may attack him and overrun his kingdom.
Yeah.
So he decided to attack Baker from there. So Baker withdrew from there. That was in 1863 now. So in 1872. So he decided to withdraw from there, coming northward here, where he came and found the Arab slave traders still here. He attacked them here on the 2nd of August of 1872.
Yeah.
He then fought them out of this place. He actually released up to 300 slaves, which were already prepared to be taken to the Arab coast, and seized actually a number of ammunition from the Arabs.
So he made it into his base.
Yes, he made it to become his base, where he stayed here for one solid year and left this place in March of 1873, when his 4 years contract as Governor General of the equatorial area had expired.
So the Arabs never took it over again?
Not at all.
Okay.
So when he left, he was succeeded by a man called General Gordon, who also worked here for 4 years as Governor General.
And he turned this into his base as well?
Yes. And then after General Gordon, when his contract expired, General Gordon was succeeded by another officer who was called Emin Pasha. This man, Emin Pasha, was a German who was working for Egyptian Empire during that time. But during his administration, things came a little bit hard until the Arabs intensified their activities, but they had to request for reinforcement all the way from England again, whereby General Gordon was sent to come and reinforce him. He was by then based in southern Sudan in a place called Gondokoro.
Yeah, I know Gondokoro.
But very unfortunately, before he could reach Emin Pasha at Gondokoro, he was killed at Khartoum.
Yeah.
So his men continued until they reached Emin Pasha. Emin Pasha also remained until finally he came to Uganda, and he died in Uganda here, in a village in Moyo district, in a village called Dufile, where he was buried.
Okay.
If you saw that that writing text.
Let's look at the writing.
The writing here, if you see the writing here.
The plaque which is written here?
Yes.
Okay.
If you see
the plaque that is embedded in this wall clearly explains where the time of Sir Samuel Baker occupation of this fort.
And if you see carefully, the writing says Patiko. The place is called Patiko. It's not with F. Baker was a foreigner. And when people were telling him this place was Patiko, he says, okay, Patiko. So in all correspondence written about this fort in those days, you find it written with F.S. Patiko. And it talks of 1872 to 1888. This 1872 to 1888 strictly speaks about this fort. Because Baker came here and he attacked the Arab slave traders on the 2nd of August of 1870. 1873 when he left, and later succeeded by General Gordon.
And Emin Pasha.
And after Gordon, Emin Pasha came in.
Okay.
So that's how about the writing.
Okay.
Yes.
So the rest of the rocks now, what happens here now?
The rest of the rocks The kind of features we see, you find here in these forts, they are actually extraordinary. Just really wonder how they happened to be there. No one did them. These Arab slave traders merely
found them here, like
found the rocks already in this place, except they piled these heaps of stones, then dividing the hill here into subsections and with different functions. And it is the continuation of the trench on reaching the rock surface.
Okay.
If only we could go up this rock.
Yeah, let's try and walk up the rock and see.
Yes.
I know it's difficult to jump here for some people, but let's try and...
Just a step like
Are you
that,
careful?
and you find yourself
Down there. Okay, careful. Okay, we are now right at the top of the rock.
So when you are here, we have a very beautiful shade here.
Okay.
Where if tired, you can come and...
I'm sure some of the Arab lords would...
And if you reach here, you find that beautiful view of the stores seen from here now.
Yeah. Okay.
If you have your drinking water, your soda, your water, you can sit down and relax for some time.
Okay. Careful. This place during the LRA war was a no-go zone area. I understand there were rebels here. Tell us what exactly happened. There was no anybody who would come here?
I personally was here from 1991. And when people were coming to the camp, I was already here in this trading center.
Yeah.
So now, since the place was just left without any management from 79 to that time, the people were coming to the fort. The fort was just any other bush. So the LRA also, they used to come up this fort, and they would have to observe the activities going on within the camp from here. Because if you see those mango trees, means the camp was it came up to quite close here. Yeah. So they could just come up here and they would just observe the activities going on within the camp. They would even observe the movements of the forces, the UPDF forces, and it would also help them to plan how to attack the fort from here. So repeatedly there had been a number of attacks from the fort here toward to the camp. But when the UPDF learned of that trick, then they started deploying on forces up here, this hill. And repeatedly they were clustering with them up the hill, up the fort here, until when the LRA learned that they were already deployment of forces here, was when they ceased to come to this fort. This deployment actually continued even up to the early days of last year, when the LRA had left. They were still being deployed here.
So is it now, when did it stop being a tourist site? Serious? I know it is still a tourist site, people come here. But I know it must have attracted a lot of people in the past. So when did it stop being actively a tourist site?
Actually, it stopped being actively. It's a touring site from 1986, when the war in the north started. Okay. Because no one could drive from Gulu to this place. Okay. So it actually ceased to be there.
So today people are able to come here and see them?
Very freely. You can even come and sleep up here. No one would even... not your problem possibly would be the mosquitoes. This place here, we started maintaining it because of some reasons. One was that we want to maintain the fort so that all the children that would be coming in future should find the generations that would be in future should find the fort is still there. They would see it. Two, the fort, when well maintained, would invite tourists from various countries, from all over the world. These tourists coming in, they would bring in money. The money that the tourists come in and they live here also help the community. Yeah. It's a source of income to the community because they would be buying some small things, even from the shops and other crafts. Okay. Not only that, the coming of the tourists in this fort would actually meet the community of the place, and they would actually develop mutual understanding, actually a good relationship. Okay. Yes. And then that good relationship means the place would actually be connected to the whole world. Now, when you are up here, you see a number of very beautiful sceneries seen from here. All over, you see even from here and everywhere about it. But let's talk about the features from far away there. That side on the western end there. We have on the western side a fairly long hill on your left.
Yeah.
That long hill is called Guru Hill in Lamugi sub-county, now in Amoro district.
That's Amuru district.
Yes, on your right we have a certain group of hills which look like elephants standing.
Yeah, I can see them from here.
And with some settlement below it. Those hills are Kilak Hills. Okay. And the settlement below it is Pabo Trading Center on Juba Road.
Yeah.
And then the vast ground from Pabo Trading Center coming this way is Utong Village, coming to join Pawelangan Village in this sub-county. While on your left we have this hill here, it's called Kiju Hill. And you proceed northward. On your extreme right here is that beautiful looking one.
This isolated hill with the rocks,
yes.
the big rock up
yes. There. That beautiful looking one is called Ajulu Hill.
Ajulu Hill.
Yes. And after Ajulu we have that one with a double top. That one with a double top there is called Laduong Hill.
Is it in which county is that?
That's still in this county.
Okay.
So Laduong Hill is where the late Okot P. Bitek came from.
Oh,
Okot,
that's the writer, the famous
Okot,
writer.
yeah, Okot P. Bitek, the famous literature writer there. Yeah. And then when you continue northward, by the way, from Kiju Hill heading northward, all these hills are just on the same line. Yeah. After Laduong, we have one called Akara. Then after Akara, there's one called Labormo with something on top of it you're seeing from here. Then after Labormo, we have one called Abaka. And several smaller ones heading northward.
Okay.
Come back to the fort now. I told you the trench which were dug by the Arab slave traders started from the main gate.
Right. From the main gate there.
Yeah, the trench used to be 8 feet in the width and as well the depth down.
The trench in width was 8 feet.
Yes.
And then deep was
also 8 feet.
8 feet.
So that it ran from there like that northward.
I can see it right there.
Yes.
Yeah.
It continued northward, go and stop at a on where the other palm trees. And if you see the line of these trees following it, a little bit dark line here, it's just like that until it made the corner there, until it came and joined the rock surface here.
So this was the defense kind of...
Yes, disc. Yes. So, in closing this fort, making that one only as the main entrance.
Okay. So and there was nowhere someone would run to other than...
No. The Arab slave traders used to send one person with a trumpet up this rock.
Ah, so you would go right on top of this?
Yes, going up using a locally prepared ladder from here.
Yeah.
His role up there would be to observe the security of the fort. So that in case of any foreign aggression observed by the person up there, he would blow the trumpet. And the trumpet will now alert the camp community of danger coming. Here, Baker used to jump from this rock.
This is the rock just...
into the other one there.
There's a small space here as you can
and see. He would come down from behind. That one was just purely for his exercise.
So he used to do physical here?
Yes.
Just comes running and jumps from here
to the other.
Lands there?
Yes.
Okay.
When we go down, you'll see the length. It is not very easy. Okay. And he would come down and climb. He would come down from behind and climb from here and repeat the exercise if he wish. Therefore, they named this point here as Baker's Leap.
Okay.
Baker's Leap. Yeah, where he used to jump from into the other one.
Okay.
Another point we remember here also, that when Baker overran this fort from the Arab slave traders on the 2nd of August of 1872, immediately then he mounted a British flag at this point.
So it was always flying here?
Yeah. So he mounted a British flag at this point. He used to push the handle here, and the handle were being supported by these pieces of stones. Good enough, the pieces of stones have not yet been tampered with. So the flag would just go up, and it could be seen from distance. By then, these trees, you're seeing them here, were not yet there. According to the photograph of this fort taken in 1874, it indicates there were only 4 trees here. One was somewhere there. Another one was here. And there's another small one somewhere here. And one extreme there. Only 4 trees. So the whole place was still very clear. Even that hill there could be seen very clearly from that photograph. Okay. It was a very distant fort during that time.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Because it's an important tourist site.
Very much.
Okay.
Yes.